I'm just going to talk a tiny little bit more about the graph with the means and the confidence intervals, as this is commonly what's reported in journals. We get this type of graph rather than the box plots or the histograms. So the purpose of this graph is not to represent all the observations, it's to represent what's actually being tested, and that is the mean. And commonly we put the confidence interval around it, although it could be the standard error that's been put on it, and you'll need to read the details in the figure legend. Just because if it's only the standard error, then it'll look a lot narrower, and that can sort of exaggerate the results if you're not aware of it. It can also be discipline specific, so there can be sort of certain traditions that you use one or the other. So the way that this works is we're looking to see, is it possible that the true hypothetical underlying value is actually the same for both groups? Now, if there's a lot of overlap in the confidence interval, then it's possible that the true value is the same, and that's what we're seeing here for the journal, and we did not get a significant result. If there is no overlap between the confidence intervals like we had for this, then you will definitely get a significant result. So sometimes you can tell by looking at the graph that there is a significant result. Now the problem comes in if there's a little bit of an overlap, and it can be up to about a quarter, I think. So if there's a little bit of an overlap, that's where you actually can't tell from looking in the graph, and you have to run the test to get the p-value. And that's just a little sort of mathematical quirk based on how the whole testing thing works. So as a rule of thumb, if you get no overlap between the confidence intervals, then there's a significant difference between the two means. If you get a lot of overlap, like more than half overlap between for a simple test like this, then there's probably no significant difference. If there's a little bit of overlap, then it still might be significant, and in any case you should run the test anyway to get the p-value if you want to comment on that difference. And we will see this again next week when we look at analysis of variance and look at comparing more than two means.